everybody, welcome back to Pagan's Witchy Corner. So I am going to give you guys a quick little review of a couple of really awesome books that I got from Llewellyn. And Llewellyn is partnered with Revelator Network. We are doing a lot of really awesome book reviews for a lot of our wonderful author friends, and then some authors I've never gotten the privilege of actually getting to work with. Now I'm getting to read their works, and it's really, really awesome. I feel so honored that Llewellyn allows us to review these wonderful books. So today we're going to be talking about a couple of the books that we got, and I have to say that there are some books that, obviously not everybody's gonna like them, but so far Llewellyn is like on par with the stuff that I'm enjoying. At least everything I've read so far, all the books are so good, and I'm like, man, you guys haven't like hit a zero with me yet. So this is pretty awesome. The first book I want to talk to you guys about is the Hedgewitch's Little Book of Spells, Charms, and Brews by Tudorbeth. And I hope that I said their name correctly, because if I didn't, I apologize. I butcher everybody's names. Don't take it personally, please. This book is small. It's tiny. It would fit great in a little bag or a purse. A purse of moderate size, and we're not talking like a clutch. We're talking a moderate size purse. It is a wonderful little hardcover book. The cover is beautiful. It's blue and it's covered with lots of like fun branches and like stars, and it's just really nice. The inside of the book also has beautiful imagery around it as well. And there's a lot of spells and brews and charms and all sorts of cool stuff in here. It's not really packed with a lot of how-to. It's more of a recipe book. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth buying. It's actually really worth buying. There's some really great stuff in there that I've added to my own grimoire. And I really did enjoy the book. I was just when I first flipped through it, I was like, ooh, because I call myself a Hedgewitch. But this book was a lot of fun because it had some really fun different spells in it. Like one of my favorite spells that I really enjoyed was a bad back massage oil. And it's not even really it's more of a brew, I guess. But as you guys know, I have MS, and so my back hates me. My spine hates me with a fiery passion. So when I got to that, I very much was like, oh, I should try this. And I did. And it works beautifully. It is a wonderful, wonderful little recipe. So I highly recommend it. And there's a lot of other really great stuff in there. There's teas, there's all sorts of baths, and all the different ways that you can grow. And if you're looking for some way to add some spells to your own grimoire, and for me, here's what I do with spells. I will take a spell that is written by somebody else and I will adapt it to my own practice. So I may not use all the ingredients. I may find a different ingredient that works similarly, that works better within me and my own magics, and I will use that as a substitute. If you know your herbs and everything and all of your ingredients and all of your own magic practices, that's a really great way to grow your own practice. But if you are new to witchcraft and you are not sure about ingredients or the magical properties of all your different herbs and everything else, that's perfectly fine. Use the book as is and the spells as is. It doesn't make them any less potent. And as you grow and as you learn the different things, you're going to see how you can tweak that spell to make it more your own and fit your own practice. And it might fit your practice literally to a T straight out of the book. And that's okay. That's great. That's wonderful. That's why these books are written. It's a beautiful little book. I highly recommend it. Go buy a copy. It is a great addition to, I have what's called my practical magic shelf. Now, my practical magic shelf are books that I reference regularly. These are books that I can go and pull up quickly if I need to look up something. I have other magic bookshelves where they're books that I've read, but I'm probably not going to look back at them for quite some time because I got what I needed out of them. And not to say that I don't still recommend them, it's just I don't need them at that moment. And that's okay. They will be saved for when my daughter is ready to start practicing. So buy this book. It's highly recommended. The next book I want to talk about is also a great little book. This book made the book lover in me really, really happy. And this book, the review is going to come out for it, and the written review is going to come out for it on Friday the 3rd of September. Because on the 27th, we have Kiki Drombowski's book review coming out. So check that one out as well. It's going to be great. But this is A Mystical Practical Guide to Magic, Instructions for Seekers, Witches, and Other Spiritual Misfits by Aliza Einhorn. This book is colorful and sassy and fun. It's also a very nice little book. It would probably fit in a larger like bag, like a larger purse or like a book bag very comfortably. It is hardcover as well. The pages are a glossy page, like a recipe page in like a recipe book. And they are just, the book was comfortable to read. It felt good in my hands. It was a lot of fun to read. There was a lot of sass. And not in a bad way sass. I'm talking like it was fun, and it wasn't just, we're going to talk about the history of witchcraft, but she talks a little bit about the history of things, but from her own perspective with such a fun, inviting way. Now, the only thing I can say about this book is if you are somebody who is not interested in astrology or tarot, this book may not be for you. Now, the reason that I say that, not to say this is a bad thing, I loved every second of this book, but it does have a lot of connections to tarot and astrology. So if those are two things that are not really on your interest list, I still recommend it. I still say check it out because it does have a lot of really great modern ways to practice in it. But if that's something that you're not interested in, you may not get as much out of it as somebody else who is interested in that. That being said, I still loved every single minute of this book. It was beautiful and it was fun. Like the imagery is not, what's the word? It's not very elaborate. Like it's very almost kind of clip art, but not in a bad way. Like it was beautiful. It was colorful. It was fun to just see that pop of color on the pages as you're reading through it, to see all of the different things it felt. And there's sections in the book that are called like your next stops. And it's similar to like being on a train. And it's like, here's your next stop on the train ride to wherever you're going in this path. It was so much fun to see all these different things and to see how me as a lover of the tarot, it was connected in all the ways, and they used tarot to paint the stories, and they used astrology to paint the stories, and it was just a great book, you guys. Wow, was it good. I enjoyed it. It's also going on my practical magic shelf, mainly because even though it's written for beginners, it 100% is definitely something that I would like to reference back to, because it has some really interesting ways for teaching. Not just teaching other people, but teaching yourself as well. Like, for instance, practicing tarot with friends, learning all this. Now, there are things that I pulled that also from, like, in Matt Auryn's Psychic Witch, where he also says to practice and play with a group to learn how to improve your psychic skills. But this one definitely talks about having kind of a play group where you get to play with your tarot, you get to play with your divination, your astrology, your magic, whatever it may be. Not in a bad way. Like if you're trying to do an elaborate spell, probably playing is not your best bet. But if you're learning tarot or you're learning magic and you're doing it in a fun way, definitely, have a witchy group, have a witchy friends, which we do in Gilded every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, in the Pagan's Witchy Corner channel in the Gilded and that's gilded.gg/RPN. You should come check it out. We do a lot of play with divination, witchy stuff, and finding ways to teach ourselves and grow together and grow in our practices. So come check that out. Sorry, that was my shameless plug for the day. But these books are a lot of fun. They are very wonderful. I highly recommend them. And even, like I said, with this one, even if you're not really big into astrology or tarot, still check it out. There's still some really great stuff in it that I highly recommend you guys look into and find ways to grow your practice in different ways. Sometimes looking at a book from a different perspective, even though it may not give you everything that you need, it may give you that one thing that you were missing before that you didn't realize you were missing until you read it. So definitely check it out. Check out the other one as well, because it's got a lot of really great references. The Hedgewitch's little book of spells, charms, and brews is the other book I'm referring to, by the way. Check it out. And it might have something that your grimoire was missing, something that you needed, but you didn't know how to get there. And it just might be what you're looking for. So I highly recommend both these books. You can buy them from Llewellyn's shop, which is llewellyn.com, and you can head over to their shop. They are listed both right there. Or you can buy them from Amazon if you'd like. But I highly recommend go to your local bookshop, and if they don't have these books, ask if you can get them to order you a copy. Most bookstores will order you a copy from somewhere. You might have to pay like an extra fee for it, but most of the time, no, they'll order a few copies from the publisher. So go check that out. Go buy these books, and I will see you guys next time for our wonderful little review. Bye, everybody.